Hey everybody, welcome back to 262 Fishing. Today we're doing things a little bit differently. I'm actually driving around Waukesha County checking lakes for safe ice. We've got skim ice on a lot of the lakes I've been to and checking lately. It's too thick to get a boat out, but too thin to walk on. But we've had temperatures, highs in the mid to low 30s, lows down in the low 20s. So we're looking for safe ice in hopes that we can finally get out and ice fish. So I'm going to put the camera down because I'm driving, because that's the whole point of today. So I'll see you guys as we go from lake to lake. All right, so as I'm getting close to the first spot, I do need to throw this disclaimer on right now. It's almost 10 a.m. on Monday, December 7th. This video is coming out at 2 p.m. on Tuesday, December 8th. We do have a forecast coming up of temperatures in the mid to upper 40s. It might even hit 50. So while this is accurate for just this morning, it's not necessarily the best indicator of what's going to be going on in the future. So as always, whether you're ice fishing any of the lakes that I'm checking or just your local lake, make sure you're going about it safely, and I'll have a video in the future about how to do that. But the disclaimer is the conditions here are not necessarily reflective of the conditions even here tomorrow or later in the week, and definitely not the conditions at your local lake. So make sure you're checking and make sure you're being safe. But let's get to the lakes. All right, so we're starting here at Eder Lake behind me. I chose this lake because it's smaller, it's shallower, it was the most likely to be able to freeze over and get to safe ice. But now that I'm looking at it, I see some open spots over on the edge there. Looks kind of just like skim ice right in front of me, but I'm still gonna check it out and hope for the best. So I'll do a video on spudding your way out, but it's important to know your spud bar. Wow, it's really muddy here. And that is going right through. All right. So it's mostly locked up, but that's all you're gonna get. And I'm gonna use this opportunity now to make sure I'm telling people, use a spud bar, not only to keep things safe for you, but also don't be throwing rocks out, because a lot of people like to throw rocks out here just to test the integrity of the water. The problem with that is rocks will damage your auger blades, and oftentimes we can't see them. So use a spud bar, don't use rocks. And we're gonna try the next spot. All right, so first lake I had the highest hopes and it was a total bust, but I'm not gonna give up. I actually had a request on Instagram from Fishing with Mark, who asked me to check out Moose Lake and Hunter's Lake. Now the main access for Hunter's Lake is actually through a river, and moving water freezes slower than still water, so I'm probably gonna skip Hunter's Lake, but let's go check out Moose Lake and see how that's doing. All right, so I just got to Moose Lake, and on my way here I stopped at Beaver and Pine Lakes. Beaver Lake actually had about 1.25 inches to 1.5 inches of ice right at the launch, and then Pine Lake was wide open. Maybe a little bit of skim ice near the middle, but the launch itself was wide open. And unfortunately, Moose Lake has the same fate. Alright, so just because I was curious, I put up the drone over Moose Lake, and it looks like it's completely open to the point where you could actually probably fish out of a boat, or if you're willing to brave it, in a kayak as well. So moving on from here, next lakes I'm going to are Belle and Fowler Lake. Those were a request by Alex from Basics Lures by Alex, so that's where I'm gonna head to next. All right, so I'm at Fowler Lake now, and at first glance it looked all right. Some people are throwing some bigger rocks out on the ice to check it, which please don't do that. But as I look kind of out there, out to the open a little bit more, it actually looks pretty open. And now that I'm getting close, it looks like it's going to be pretty thin. And yeah, that's here at the launch. Just the weight of me standing on the launch gives us our answer. So all right, so Fowler is a no-go. We're gonna go a couple minutes away, hit up Lac La Belle. All right, here we are at the Oconomowoc boat launch for Lac La Belle, and not too much more promising. I don't actually know if that showed up, but here, let's do this. Skim ice is at absolute best, but it looks like it's actually most of the way across, so there's hope for Lac La Belle at least. All right, so that covers the lakes that you guys asked for. I have a couple lakes that I'm gonna go check just for my own benefit. I have a 38-minute drive according to Google Maps to get from Lac La Belle, where I just left, to Phantom Lake, and I actually planned on fishing Phantom Lake in the boat this week. However, I got a report on Lake Link that there was about a half-inch of ice there, and it was locked up. So obviously I haven't put the boat away yet, but obviously I couldn't quite launch in a half-inch of ice. So I'm gonna head down there, see if that's developed any more, and I've got 1 or 2 more lakes after that as well. So 35 minutes, 38 minutes from now, 40 minutes from now, I'll see you guys at Phantom Lake. Before I forget too, when I was on my way out to Fowler and Lac La Belle, I drove by Florence Lake, which is actually a private lake that I don't have access to, but that was completely wide open. I also stopped by Oconomowoc Lake, and that launch is on a river, so obviously that was wide open. And Okachi Lake, the launch itself was open. They actually still have the pier in, but when you got out maybe 100 yards or so, it looked like there was some skim ice developing there as well. So a wide variety of ice development from lake to lake here in Waukesha County so far. All right, so on my way to Phantom Lake, I stopped at Upper Genesee, and that was pretty much wide open at shore and some ice gathering around the middle. It looks like the report for Phantom Lake behind me is pretty accurate. It looks like maybe just a little bit of skim right here at the launch, but it does look pretty much locked up all the way across. So we'll spud it, see how thick it is. It doesn't look like it's going to be all that thick, but we'll take a look. Yeah. I don't know why I'm even wearing my cleats right now. I'm not walking out on any ice. All right, let's see. All right, so pretty thin here, but like I said, it looks pretty much locked up. I'm gonna throw the drone up, assuming I'm not in a no-fly area. Gotta double check that first, but we'll see how that goes. All right, so now I'm at the Boxhorn launch at Big Muskego, and it looks like there's a decent amount of ice produced out there, actually. Here, I'll turn the camera on so you can see. So obviously it's really thin ice. I know my cleats are making a lot of noise on the pier. The pier's still in, but here, we'll go down here and take a look. So obviously still super thin here at the pier, but if I look out there, it looks decent. And obviously you can see the trails where some boats, probably some I almost said duck hunters were probably busting through to get out to do their hunting. But Big Muskego is usually the most promising for me because it's basically a shallow marsh and it has a tendency to freeze up before everything else. So that's where we are, still just very thin ice here. We've got a little bit milkier of ice on this end. Let's see how that looks. That actually was a little bit thicker, not much, but a little bit. So as I spud my way down, maybe about 1.5 inches or so here. I could get my tape measure out, but I'd say that's probably 1.25 inches to 1.5 inches. But that is milkier ice. And as some of you guys may or may not know, generally milkier ice is the, well, weaker of the ice, and clear ice is usually the stronger ice. So not ice I would trust even probably at about 2 inches or so, but at least we're getting there. All right, we're off the pier. I can stop walking loudly. All right, guys, that's it for today. I went around to the other launches at Big Muskego as well, and they were pretty much the same as everything else. So as we get into winter and finally some ice and cold weather, this is probably what my videos are going to be for the next couple of weeks. The fishing's been slow and people want to know what the ice conditions are. So if you're local to Waukesha County, comment down below what lake you'd like me to check, and I'll go out and check those ice conditions for you. Of course, I am still going to try and get out and go fishing as well. And of course, I'm still on my journey to catch a fish in every lake here in Waukesha County. So to follow that, click the red one down below to subscribe if you're not already. And speaking of subscribing, I have another giveaway coming up towards the end of this month, and it's going to go to one of you subscribers. So again, make sure you subscribe down below so you can be eligible for that. And as always, folks, remember, it doesn't matter if you go around the world or go around the corner, just as long as you go fishing. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the water.